top of it starting to get back crunchy from this sun. Look underneath it. You could just about wring the water out of that. Look at my hand. Okay, in these hay leaves, look at those white spores. I don't know how well that's going to focus on that. You can see little white dots on and it smells rotten.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren, and welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us today. What a beautiful day the Lord's made. Let's rejoice in it. We're out here in our rained on hay. It is what it is. We're not fretting over it. The good Lord smiled on us in one way. Count your blessings, not your downs. Count the highs, not the lows. This is our smallest acreage paddock or little field that we cut. It's only about 4/10 of an acre. So when we got rained on hay, thank goodness it was this field and not the rest of them. This hay's a total loss. And it's about 11 a.m. Friday morning. We cut this on Monday and tedded it out Monday evening, tedded it Tuesday midday. It rained on it Tuesday evening pretty decently, about a 1/4 of an inch. Rained on it Wednesday some, I think a shower. It rained so much the days ran into each other. But the main rain we got, it rained Wednesday night pretty decently, about a 1/15 of an inch. And then Thursday, yesterday, it poured the rain on it for quite a long time. It would rain yesterday for a little while and quit, rain for a little while and quit. Then yesterday, late afternoon into evening, it poured the rain for a good while. And I came out here yesterday evening and looked at the hay, me and my wife Susan, and at that point we decided this hay's a loss. And let's just take a look at it. It's mid-morning and I'm gonna let the sun stay on it. Yep, the sun's shining today, which is good in a way because it can help dry it out so we can do something with it. I'm gonna walk right over here to a place in the field and just randomly pick some up. And I'm gonna show you what to look for if you get rained on hay. Okay. Here's from underneath of it. That looks bad, don't it? Okay, now I don't know how the color palette of this camera is actually gonna pick all this up, but I can see it very vividly with my eyes here on it, actually looking at it. Look at some of this hay. Now I don't know if the camera picks that up. That's turning black. It's not completely black, but it's turning that way. Not every single piece of it, look at that. Not every single piece of it, but a whole lot of it is. And when it starts that process, it's only going to progress from there. It's just turning black and all sorts of different blades of grass. That looks horrible. Okay, let's pick up another spot. Somewhere where it's a little thicker is even worse. I'm gonna try to show you what it really looks like. So I'm gonna pick up one of the more wet places. Okay, this one's got some. It all has some. Okay. You see some of it like this, it's still green looking. Okay, some of it's just brown. You think, hey, that ain't that bad. Look right here. That piece is turning black. When you see that black And this is so wet. I mean, I could squeeze it and wring water out of it. Still, and the sun's been on it for about 2 hours. There's just pieces of it that are already this fast turning moldy. Look at that. Look underneath that. Bad. Bad, bad. It's beyond saving. We could get out here and tear this up and get it somewhat dry, but the damp, the grass where it was wet for so long laying there has absorbed all that rainwater, and from the inside it's starting to like mold. It's developing those spores, and there's no stopping it now. It's gonna happen no matter what we do. I'm gonna walk and pick up one more pile. Oh, this one shows it really good. I mean, really good. So you'll know what to do if your hay's worth salvaging or not. Okay, the top of it's starting to get back crunchy from this sun. Look underneath it. You could just about wring the water out of that. Look at my hand. Okay, in these hay leaves, look at those white spores. I don't know how well that's going to focus on that. You can see little white dots on and it smells rotten. You can see little white mold spores developing on a whole lot of this. And the camera, I'd have to have some kind of micro zoom for you to be able to see it. Look how wet. And there's little white micro spores. And look how some of it's turning really, really dark. Almost black looking. And what ain't turning black, some of the green leaves even have little white dots all over them. Mold spores starting on it. So it's history. It is total history. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, we can't take a 1 acre tarp and put over this when it starts raining. It is what it is. So I think the very flat areas up in here, we're gonna let this dry for a while today. I've got my zero turn out. I need to mow our house yard today. And I think when I get done mowing at home, I'm gonna bring the zero turn out here, because I can raise that deck really high on that zero turn. It'll go up to like 5.5 inches. And depending on the dryness of it, I may, not where it gets steep down there, but up here in the more regional test plot, I may run back and forth through this with that zero turn and chop some of this up before we turn sheep in on it so it ain't moldy. Chop it up so it can just dry out. And this southeast field hay, total loss. Total loss. Thank goodness we still have our main top part of our hay field, which is more than a third. It's almost a half, but not quite. And then we still have the west field to go. So we'll just hope when the time comes to cut that here soon, very soon, we'll get a dry window that we can successfully cut, rake, and bale hay in those fields, and that'll be plenty to get us through the winter. This was probably the best hay we had ever grown. It was awesome. Timothy orchard, a little bit of fescue, a little bit of Kentucky bluegrass, red clover, man, and it was thick as fleas on a dog's back. It's ruined, and we're not gonna cry over spilled milk. All right, we're gonna give the sun on this a little while to dry, and we're gonna go start mowing the house yard. That takes us a couple hours, and maybe by the time we're done with that, we can come back and we can run over this with a zero turn instead of a bush hog. A zero turn will chop it up better than a bush hog will, a rotary cutter. So they don't chop and mulch, they just cut and throw. That mower will chop it up a little better. Will it do it? I don't know, because this is thick. So I'll be back with you. Well, I started mowing the yard and had to finish up in the pouring rain. My socks are even wet. I'm about out of breath running, getting in and out of the rain. It's finally slacked off. 18% chance they said of rain this morning, and it literally downpoured for 20 minutes, if not longer. So chopping up any hay today is out of the question. It's sopping wet heavy. I need to wait till it gets somewhat dry. No need to leave the tedder to the tractor, so let's go unhook it so we can get our tractor parked back in the barn out of the rain. Sun's back out, and good grief, I think you could take a machete and cut the humidity. Wow, is it hot. I'm soaking wet with sweat. I've been blowing off with a leaf blower everything around our house and mowing the yard, and I was gonna start trying to chop up this ruined hay, and it absolutely poured the rain about an hour, 2 hours ago. Good grief. I checked the rain gauge, it rained 0.45 of an inch, almost half an inch. I mean, it downpoured, and that was with earlier this morning, like 21% chance of rain, or maybe even lower, I don't remember exactly, but you can't depend on no forecast this time of year. I mean, you just can't. Our southeast field is ruined. That hay is gone. And like I said earlier, thank goodness it wasn't our last field to cut. That's what we had to depend on. We got more way back here in the west field and the main field, the 4/10 of that main field to cut. So that'll be our hay. We're gonna bank on that. And we're down to crunch time, sorta. It's mid-August. And this could possibly be the last cuts we get this year. So we have got to make those work. So I'm not rolling the dice on those fields like I did the southeast field or the former test plot. I will wait till we get a 5-day forecast window that the rain chances are basically in the single digits. And this rainy pattern we're in of everyday rain, regardless of what the forecast says, here lately we've been getting rain every day. The only day we did not have rain, I think, was Monday. And we had it Sunday evening a lot. We didn't have no rain Monday, but it's rained every day since. So I'm going to give this wet hay in the southeast field a day or two to dry as good as it will, if the sun will stay out. And then I'm going to take this bad boy and raise the deck pretty high and just run back and forth through it. It's so thick that I'm not sure now that it's so moldy that the sheep will eat it. But if I can chop it up a little bit finer, then turn them in on it, their foot traffic and the manure and urine and everything should help it work into the soil. It'll actually be really good for our soil. So I hate to lose that quality of hay, but it is what it is. It's spilt milk, and I ain't gonna worry about it from this point on. I'd just like to get it chopped up so we can turn sheep into it, and then it can start working its way back in the soil. That field's done for this year. The Southeast field or the former test plot, it probably 99.9% will not get cut again this year. We'll start turning the sheep flock back in on it soon as some growth comes back and we can get this chopped up. I don't want the sheep to start grazing on it when it's stubble height like it is now after cutting it. So we'll let it grow back up some, chop all this in, let it grow back up some, and then turn the sheep in on it for the rest of the year, rotationally. Not all the time, but they'll go in it for a little while, out for a little while, other fields, and then a month later rotate back into this, or a month and a half, and it'll be good for it for next year. So update on that hay, it's history. So we'll bring you back soon for more farm goings-ons, and especially when we start cutting the west field. That west field needs cut. It has not folded yet, and when I say folded, I'm talking about the leaves get up so high and they start laying over. Some people call that lodging. The hay's lodging. But around here, with people that I grew up with doing hay in this area, nobody called it that. Everybody called it folding. The hay's folding. So when I say folding, that's what I mean. It's starting to lay over. And when hay starts laying over or folding, it needs cut. That's meaning it's getting so thick and so heavy that it's laying over, and it'll start smothering out all that grass is under there and turning them brown. And so the west field's not folded yet, but it's close. I mean, it's close to patches of it here and there starting to fold, and we need to cut it. So we're just gonna wait for the weather, the correct weather to cut it, to have 5 days of dry down. So we'll be back with you when all that happens. Thanks for being with us for this update on the hay. I know everybody was anticipating that new mower rotary rake running and us baling this Southeast field with our Farm Max / Redlands 330 baler. It's not going to happen. The weather took care of it for us. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it, and I pray God blesses you and your family. And we pray y'all have a fantastic day.